Hello everyone, Mike the MC bringing another self-care video. This is now the response to 246 of the Catechism, and so the idea here is, from a non-spiritual perspective, making the stages of change come to fruition. Where do you stand when you want to make a change in your life? Are you driven by a negative experience? Are you driven by a positive experience, right? Or do you just want to make a statement to yourself to say, hey, I am accomplishing what I want to accomplish today, so that today I will move forward in the future for tomorrow to be a brighter one because I made that choice to get out of it. And so when you're looking at your goals and the changes you want to make in your life, okay, are you ready? Are you confident? Are you ready to face criticism? Are you ready to make a move when everyone says, whoa, where did that come from? Are you ready to do it so that way it protects not only you and your sanity, but your future? Are you willing to go against toxic environments and to protect yourself? And I think from this perspective, from a non-spiritual idea, it can really help you capture that idea I was sharing from 246 of the Catechism. And so looking at it, it was referencing what I was sharing with this idea of the Holy Spirit proceeding the Father and the Son, right? This idea then I shared with the metaphor of a knight protecting the king, but then the scout protecting the knight and the king, right? As far as scavenging the areas that are looking around to protect the rest of the kingdom before advancing into a new area. And so now going a step further, from a non-secular perspective, from just a counseling perspective, from social work, we talk about the stages of change, where you pre-contemplate, you contemplate, you take action. Well, you plan, then you take action, okay? And then you maintain, right? You want to maintain this action so that way it becomes a habit. And so when you want to make a change in your life, you have to have a pre-contemplation and a contemplation first, those first two steps. You're pre-contemplating, okay, maybe I don't like this toxic environment, this toxic habit, watching porn, drinking drugs, or drinking alcohol, right? Having drugs, I'm sorry, mixing things up here. And then you think, okay, if I want to contemplate now a little further, I want to contemplate how I can get out of this horrible habit, because I really want to contemplate this idea of a healthy life. So now to jump into the third step of planning, I want to plan a bright future. So how do you make it real? Look at the steps. Look at what's available to you. Available jobs, available working groups, available habits, right? What is available to you that'll help you advance to get out of terrible situations? Okay, you look at what's available. Now, take the action. To me, it's either the easiest or the hardest step. But for me, it's easy, because when I know that I need to get out of some place into advancing to some place, it's easy. So I've always done that, and people are like, wow, Mike, how are you able to jump from one job to another, or able to advance from one situation to another? The thing is, you have to be fearless. Face the criticism. Face when people are going against you and saying, oh, I don't like what you're doing there, but okay, maybe that makes sense for you. Go for it. And so you got to figure out how you're going to get away from terrible environments, terrible situations that'll pin you, because people are afraid to grow. They're afraid to step out of their comfort zone, to get away from toxic people, to be happy. But the thing is, we'll do more to avoid pain than to be happy, right? And so the thing is, you want to avoid that pain. You want to avoid the pain of being called a hypocrite, being called a loser, being called this or that, etc., etc. But you got to be willing to embrace that happiness. You got to go for it. You got to face that pain in order to get it. And so when you have to be fearless, you take that action, the fourth step, and from the previous three to the action, the fourth, to now making it a real thing. Because the action now is, okay, how do I maintain that with the fifth step? How do I maintain this habit now? How do I maintain what I have believed from the previous steps, that I am thrown in a toxic environment, toxic situation? I've had a terrible idea of what it is that I think is going to keep me pinned down, because if I'm still doing these drugs, these habits, these alcohol ideas, right? Going into pornography and judging people, etc., etc., I'm going to be pinned with a negative thinking. So to break a habit of negative thinking with the rest of your life, you have to be brave and bold and take steps to get out of those terrible situations, and you will find freedom. You will find freedom and break free. If you recognize that you're placed in a terrible situation, break free and you will be okay. And that is the thing about being courageous, to face the criticism, because I know, as you know, that we have to be brave in order to do this. And so once you go through the five stages of change, pre-contemplate, contemplate, to plan, to action, to maintenance. Now, technically the sixth or seventh steps, however you look at this, do you relapse into negative habits, or do you stay with that positive one? Have you found the new job, the new habit that'll bring you forward in life? Have you found it? And when you find it, are you happy and contemplate further? Okay, let's build and grow forward. Let's build and grow forward in my life right now, because I have something good right now that's good for me to build upon. See, when you find something positive, that is where you were the advanced one that was advancing as a scout, advancing into the next stage, advancing into the unknown territory, because now you have taken a responsibility for your life. You've taken it back. And that is the one way to look 246 of the Catechism from a non-secular perspective, because don't forget, you have to take care of yourself, and you have to look at, okay, maybe I don't have that spiritual sense to see if people are good or evil, but I definitely have my common sense to tell, okay, they were throwing me under the bus, that was uncalled for, and now I can get out of this terrible situation. I don't have to call names, call criticisms. I can get out of here because I'm taking responsibility for me and walking out like a proud person. And that is what you got to do in order to know when to quit from a terrible place, in order to preserve your sanity. You got to be brave. Protect your sanity, and I believe that is one way to look at it as far as you being a scout for your life. You got to be. You got to be brave and fearless. Do it, and you won't regret it. Alright everyone, hope this video finds you well today. Be strong and courageous. What do you think in the comments? Share if this relates to 246, or how this video in itself stands alone as a bright motivator for you to stand against the grain, to stand against the evil that people are trying to throw at you. And you can fight back that negative thinking and say, hey, I don't have to be stuck here. I have a bright future. I'm going to defend it and go against the criticism, because I know what I have is valuable, and I'm going to defend that. And I'm going to be strong. Let's see what you do. Let's see what I do. This will be courageous. Alright everyone, hope this video finds you well. Be strong. Don't give up on yourself. You got this. Take care. Have a good one.